Welcome to another episode of Den Excelsior. This is the live weekly podcast discussing the latest Marvel happenings across all media. But we've also been known to stray off topic from time to time. If it's super powered, we'll discuss it here. This episode is being recorded on the evening of Friday, May 28th, 2021. My name is Dennis, and don't judge me, this is therapy. As always, I am joined by a distinguished nerd panel. First up, he doesn't like the Black Panther, but he has plenty of other good qualities. It's Frank.
Oh, man, that always comes up.
You brought it up today. What was I supposed to do?
I'll be walking down the street and
yesterday.
people will be like, hey, that's the guy that doesn't like Black Panther. And I'm all like, oh, man, no. Then I got to explain to them for like 30 minutes the nuance behind it.
It's better for this podcast if we just don't let you explain it. So we're going to move on.
We just say I'm racist and then just let me go.
No comment. He's got his finger on the button and he's actually getting pretty good at it. It's Ricky.
Heyo.
Did you like that intro? It didn't really pump you up, I could tell.
No, yeah. I was hung up on Frank not liking Black Panther.
Yeah. Hey, you got a haircut. Dennis got a haircut.
I did.
We got a comment. Comment that says you got a haircut. Sweet.
If we're gonna do comedy, let's bring the professional in here. You know what I mean? So we also have our special guest who is returning from last week because he loved it so much. He hosts the Uncommon Comedy podcast on YouTube and everywhere else you can find podcasts, I'm pretty sure. And he has a special out now, drycomedy.com. Just for the record, he got the same intro as last week, but I think that's because he wants that one. It's Brian Apprille.
Hey, Dennis, you got a haircut.
I did. I'm assuming you wanted the same intro, by the way.
It's fine. It was drybarcomedy.com. Yep, absolutely.
Yes, Drybar Comedy. And we have the links for that in the description below. However you're watching this, I believe. Unless you're watching this on Twitch, I promise to update them later. Those ones don't update in real time. But welcome back, man.
Thank you for having me again. I was like, I heard what you guys were talking about. I'm like, I need in.
They were telling me that it's one of your favorite movies.
It is, yes. I've watched it several hundred times. No, I haven't watched it in a while, but it was very interesting.
Is it still one of your? Oh no, we'll wait.
We'll
get to that. But just so that everybody else is in on the joke. We do have a fun show planned. Since we don't have any new Marvel stuff to talk about this week, like new movies or shows, we're going to be talking about the 1986 film Howard the Duck. But before we dive into that, we've got some news and rumors to discuss, and a brief chat on a nerd topic of my choosing. As a reminder, this is also a chance for you to pick our brains with any Marvelous trivia or points of confusion that you may have. Frank's going to be checking the comments to weed through them. So any of the crappy ones we'll just throw in the trash, I think, right?
Yeah.
But we'll be checking them throughout the show and getting back to you whenever we can. And for those of you that can't get enough of us, you can visit patreon.com/denxmedia immediately after this broadcast ends for our live post show, currently still named The Soapbox, but we're wondering if that should be renamed as something way more descriptive of the ridiculousness that goes on.
Sounds like an adult spa.
That's also, we're talking a little too early. That's later in the show, the adult spa. But yeah, it's where we wind down and talk about stuff we didn't get to, like in the first 1.5 hours somehow. So I think that's everything I have like all my formalities out of the way, so we can actually chat now, be loose and just catch up with everybody. Brian, how's your week been?
It's been wonderful. I gotta say, I really do gotta say, the post show that you do on the Soapbox, if you're not a Patreon, if you're not a patron to it, you definitely should consider doing it, because It was pretty crazy. It's pretty funny, and it's just. I was really. I laughed a lot last week, which I don't usually laugh out loud a lot. I laughed a lot last week, and it was a really great time. So definitely consider becoming a patron today.
Thank you for selling that.
That's how you get invited back on. For
we try to So I've mentioned it before, and I don't mean to pick on Frank in this particular instance, but I've mentioned it before. And what's really funny is when we do this show, we have a very specific laundry list of things that we want to talk about, and we want to try and squeeze it into 1.5 hours that always turns into 1 hour and 40 minutes or whatever, something like that. But what I've noticed is when we do the soapbox, because there's no set amount of time that we do that one, it's just like, let's just hang out with our guests because we didn't get a chance to chat with you about whatever else is going on, or maybe we forgot things because we were just trying so hard to bring stuff up. I notice that Frank's posture completely changes when we get to the soapbox. He is way more relaxed. He's not ready to defend every argument that has to come his way. You know what I mean?
When that Xanax kicks in,
he just kind of chills back, and is just fidgeting with one finger and just hanging out and laughing and it's a really funny thing to watch, the transformation of all of us, after the credits roll on this one. So.
It was very similar. It's very similar to the way the scientist changes in Howard the Duck, which we're going to talk about. So you see Frank as one way. It's
pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
So.
My hair gets a little whiter. I get a little mustache.
Yes. But yeah, what else? Anybody else got anything going on this week?
Oh man, I'm starting to go. Yeah, I'm starting to go back into work. So that's a fun new thing to ease myself back into. I built a credenza. I got finals this week.
Out of what?
Out of IKEA.
Out of rectangular Legos.
That's a rite of passage at your age, man. It's a rite of passage.
I mean,
that's quite the jump from going back to work and I built a credenza. You just threw them in like they were the same. Yeah,
they're
going back to work. Built a credenza.
They're both work, right?
Pretty much
physical activity. But yeah,
Frank, what you got?
Let's see. All I've been doing is playing Star Wars stuff. Actually, I was playing Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2, and it's basically like God of War but Star Wars. So
I like the DLC in those games.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's so the DLC is like this alternate timeline. The first game is the first game is Tatooine and Hoth, and you basically corrupt Luke Skywalker and you raise hell. And then the second one is the Ewoks. You're on the forest moon of Endor, and you're just killing Ewoks, and it's fantastic. It's so therapeutic to murder Ewoks.
I gotta say, those type of games, especially the Star Wars ones, are so, just like you said, therapeutic. Just to push and pull and shove people off of cliffs and just do whatever you want with all your force powers. They're wonderful. It's just, then you get to play evil too, which is fun.
You just reminded me of something, and I know in case there's a cross section of listeners or viewers that also tune in for our We Have Spoken podcast where we talk about the Mandalorian. I know I've had people ask are you going to do other Star Wars stuff? And it's like, hey man, I don't love Star Wars enough to do that every week, every year, of the year, and I'm not even sure that I love other Star Wars stuff that's not the Mandalorian enough to do that. But I just wanted to chime in and let you guys know that I have been watching The Bad Batch lately. And dude, I just watched last week's episode yesterday because that's how unexcited I am about that show. And I almost fell asleep through it. And it's a 30-minute cartoon.
Oh my God.
And it had Fennec Shand in it from it had Ming-Na. And it was the most boring cartoon I've ever watched. So I'm just saying, for anybody who happens to be, hey, how come they never talk about Star Wars? It's because it kind of sucks most of the time, man.
It's in a weird spot right now, right?
I'm just saying, it's just sucks,
no Cara Dune, 0 out of 10. I don't want to hear.
They canceled Republic Rangers of the Republic. That show's no longer happening.
I feel like we're just gonna get into a weird tangent here if we
once they kill Bill Burr's character, I'm out. I'm done with Star Wars. You've crossed the line.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't think they will kill him like for like 10 years though. Like,
and then they'll completely dismiss his story arc and his character arc and just change it. And
unless he gets Me Too'd or is it the second insurrection?
Yeah.
And then Ray at the end is going to be like, "My name is Ray Mayfeld,"
and she's going to have a Boston accent, and it's going to be awesome.
Well,
to
the Death Star.
I'm going to say at the 10-minute mark that was enough of a tangent. So why don't we get back to talking about mostly Marvel stuff?
Well,
so
Disney,
Ricky,
right?
I think you got some news for us.
Okay.
Do it, Ricky.
Sony Pictures says there's actually a plan.
Did you rehearse that one, Ricky?
No, there actually is a plan. Sorry, I misquoted them. This is in reference to their upcoming slate of Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man. They were asked if there's a plan to add in Spider-Man to this other universe, and yes, there is a plan.
And they were quoted as saying,
I love.
"Oh yeah, a plethora."
I just got to point out, like, I try and help Ricky throughout the week, like by giving him like some news stuff. But like, I think the most wonderful thing about the news segment is he sneaks stuff in like this that I had no idea about, and it's totally newsworthy. Like,
I mean,
yeah, we promised the plan.
What's the plan, guys?
If you're the head of Sony right now, Dennis, actually, how do you do it? How do you bring Spider-Man into this other Venomverse? What's your take?
You just do it. Like, you just show that you're allowed. That I think it's not a matter of like we don't think they have a plan. It's that we don't know what they're legally allowed to do with the Tom Holland Spider-Man. So they need to just show us what they're legally allowed to do. That's all. Because no one else is going to be able to tell them what they're allowed to do. They know what they're allowed to do and what they're not. So just
I would assume they could use them, right?
I can't make any assumptions because I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know if like they have to sacrifice their firstborn child so that Marvel lets it. You know, like I don't know. We don't know.
I know Disney has a new Spider-Man ride opening for the Avengers Land next month. And Tom Holland is the voice of that Spider-Man.
But you know why, right? It's because Disney owns Spider-Man in every other way. They just don't own him in the movie capacity. That's it. Mm-hmm. Like, they even own merchandise. Like, if Sony every time Sony makes a Spider-Man movie or anything Spider-Man related, like Venom, guess who gets the money for those toys?
Tom Holland.
No,
you said yes.
No,
Tom Hardy.
But you could be wrong.
It's
It's Disney. Disney gets the toys. Their money for the toys.
Walt
Disney himself. Yeah.
Yes.
He comes back from the dead.
So it was in their best interest because they kind of want to lean into this MCU thing, right? Because it's pretty big for them. And they paid like $5 billion for it.
Wait, what is it?
Oh, it's this little thing. It's just a couple movies here and there. Okay. But I don't see a problem with them saying, "Hey, Tom Holland, do you want to come be the voice here?" Like it's a separate gig. It's like they had to pay Johnny Depp extra to come do the ride. It wasn't part of his movie contract.
I'm sure there's some weird stipulations in that contract. Morality clauses.
And I think they can probably swing it. I think they can probably afford it.
You got to stop Amber Heard from stabbing me. That was like the biggest stipulation. I think they got to make sure to get the right Tom Holland because if you remember from the 80s movie Child's Play, that was directed by Tom Holland. So
that's true. You do got to make sure you have the right one.
It's a real feel bad if you get that guy instead of the younger Tom Holland.
Or if you go with Mr. Holland's Opus, one of those. Yeah, you don't want to do that either.
Well, I think 4 minutes for this subject was good. So let's keep going.
So, what is part of the Sony movies of Spider-Man movies?
He's still doing it. He's still leaning into it.
That don't have Spider-Man? Kraven the Hunter.
Right. Oh man.
So we got word that that Kick-Ass is going to be Kraven, Aaron Taylor Johnson,
aka Quicksilver #1.
Nice.
AKA the guy from Godzilla 1.
Yeah, who
What was his
plays
name?
the husband of Scarlet Witch, which is super gross. Like that's
But
I
comic
can't watch.
accurate. Comic accurate.
Yeah, I guess kind of. Yeah, no, like I feel like when studios do this, it's like guys, it's like when studios scramble to like find an Asian or black actor and they're like, well, there's only like 5 to choose from, right? It's like
Yeah, Denzel
No,
Washington.
there's a lot of actors out there. Why are we reusing the same guy 3 times?
I mean,
for
he does
superhero
a
stories?
fake European country accent pretty good. So,
But all I gotta say is Frank convinced me a few weeks ago that I wanted a female Kraven, and I also convinced myself after watching Tenet that I don't want some guy faking a Russian accent. So
he's also in Tenet too. This guy.
yeah, he is. But I was referring to Kenneth Branagh in that movie.
Oh.
It's really it comes off as really weird because he's just like so leaning into that the whole time, like. So I was just kind of bummed when I heard about this. Whatever, it's fine. I'm sure it'll be fun because you know what? I heard they actually have a plan.
They have a plan. It's just written in crayon, like on a wall somewhere, on a Post-it note.
Brian, what do you think? Who would have been? Do you know Kraven the Hunter? Do you know the character?
I don't. I know. Perfect.
Frank, can you describe Kraven the Hunter to Brian?
Kraven the Hunter is a guy that's like peak physical strength and ability, just a peak physical man. And he is bored with hunting everything. He's basically like Jeffrey Jones from the movie The Pest.
Oh my god!
And he decides he wants to hunt Spider-Man. And then that's it. He just starts fixating on Spider-Man and wants to kill him.
But he is Russian, and he likes to have his bare chest out a lot. And he likes to
like
wear
ballerina slippers.
And he kind of wears
the
like a
embodiment
lion's
of
head.
toxic masculinity.
Who's the actor that played Zangief in the Street Fighter movie? Because I think that would be perfect.
That's the guy right there.
Yeah,
that's him. No.
That would be perfect. What's that guy
Moving
got?
on.
Is he doing anything?
What else you got, Ricky?
Everyone's favorite Christopher McDonald is joining the Secret Invasion movie. Secret Invasion show. I feel like I've seen him in everything. I just can never put a name to him.
What?
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
It's Shooter McGavin.
What's he been in? Has he been
Everything. He's been in everything.
Yeah,
I can't name
quite a few things.
There's like a Hall of Fame of like that guy actors, and you just look at them and you go, that. But I can never remember their name.
I think he's most famous for Happy Gilmore.
Did he eat little balls of shit, or is he going to eat little balls of shit in this movie going forward?
Yeah, he eats those for breakfast. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, little pieces of shit.
Is that what he says? Pieces of shit?
I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. Ew, you eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
Hell yeah, dude.
Now my brain is just seeing him in every movie, and I can't place him.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. He's a solid actor. So
yeah,
it'll be. I don't question Marvel's casting decisions. Like they're fine. They always prove my doubts wrong.
They've proven to have a plan.
Yes, they have proven that after 24, 5, 6, 7 hours. Yeah, after those many movies, they got a plan.
I'm not positive they've even said they've had a plan. Like, I don't think they.
I forgot to mention they have that book coming out.
But they usually say it in hindsight. Like, oh yeah.
There's like a compendium coming out of the first 10 years of the MCU and how they put it all together.
Like in a book form or in a movie?
Yeah,
form?
yeah. It's like an art book almost.
That's cool.
That was news I did not put in.
I know. Clark, the guest that actually was supposed to be here today. He has collected every single art book for every MCU movie up to Endgame. I think maybe Far From Home also.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. He loves those. They're pretty cool.
Oscar Isaac finally confirmed as Moon Knight. I feel like we've known this already.
Yeah, we have, but that's why you put the word "finally" in there.
The Marvel finally acknowledges that he has been cast as Mark Spector, aka Moon Knight. for his upcoming Disney Plus show, releasing who knows when. But I like Oscar Isaac.
Who among you wants to explain to the audience who Moon Knight is?
It's that guy from those McDonald's commercials.
I thought Brian said he wanted to explain who Moon Knight is.
Brian wants to.
Especially if you don't know Brian.
Yeah.
It would still be fun to hear you explain who Moon Knight is.
So Moon Knight is Space Ghost cousin who was there when Brack died, and he just went out on a killing spree and vowed vengeance. That is Moon Knight.
That's pretty close. That's pretty close.
And then he also directed a bunch of horrible movies and just added a last name to it, Moon Knight Shyamalan, and it was not well received.
I like Sixth Sense, None the Richer. That was a good one.
Signs, one of my top favorite movies.
Their hit song "Ghost Me," yeah,
Ghost Me, yeah.
Frank, would you like to take a crack at explaining Moon Knight?
I can just read it. I got it up right here.
Okay, cool.
I could have done that.
He's a fictional superhero. I love the way it says it's a fictional superhero. I didn't know that he was. I didn't know that he was one of the real ones, like the Extreme Justice League. I forget about those guys all the time.
Yes, those guys are based out of San Diego or Seattle. I can't remember.
Seattle.
San Diego, yeah.
No, San Diego. San Diego.
Yeah, really? That's that's
San Diego.
Who's the guy in Portland? Is it Seattle or Portland?
There is a group out of Seattle also, but there is the Extreme Justice League. I think is San Diego.
One of those guys
legend
was busted like selling drugs. Like it was like this whole scandal.
Okay, going off topic here. We're talking about Moon Knight because you brought up Moon Knight, Ricky.
You either die or you live long enough to see yourself become a bad guy. All right, he's basically picture Batman who's already batshit crazy, and then ramp that batshit craziness up to like level 11, and then put in like a fixation on a moon god, and that's Moon Knight basically.
Yeah, he basically has, like, depending on the writer, you don't know whether or not this ancient Egyptian moon god is really supporting him and his crazy antics, or if it's just a figment of his imagination. And that's what makes him. But he's got all the things. He's got all the toys like Batman. He's super rich. He makes all his gadgets look all crescent moon like.
White Batman.
Yeah, he's got a white, like, crescent moon bat wing kind of plane that he flies around. He's ridiculously Batman, but like with moon themes. It's pretty funny.
Is that based? That's on a comic. Was that based originally on a comic? Okay,
it's a Marvel comic. Yeah, so he's going to be on Disney Plus.
He also has a bunch of different alter egos, kind of like how Batman has like Matches Malone and a couple other like characters that he plays. Moon Knight kind of ramps that up to like 11 also because he has a bunch of them that he is. Yeah,
like I think there's been stories that have categorized him as schizophrenic, right? Like that's like it's definitely, you're not sure, you know,
if he has powers or if he's
Moon
crazy.
Moon Knight's a wackadoo, all right?
I think they played him. They played him pretty straight like initially. But I think they started leaning more on the craziness like later on.
Do you guys have fear that Disney's doing it, that they're not going to kind of do it justice, or?
You know, that leads into Dennis's question.
We're too early.
We're too early for it.
We're too soon.
I'll hold back on that.
Isn't Moon Knight Jewish or no? Isn't that like another part of his character?
I don't know.
I'm not sure, actually.
That I don't know. Mark Spector. Not sure. I love Oscar Isaac as an actor. I think he's super cool in most things. I mean, he was the one character I enjoyed in that Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah, he was the best in Apocalypse. So,
Star Wars Apocalypse?
Oh God,
no, X-Men Apocalypse. Yeah, no.
Oh, that one. Oh,
no. But I don't blame him for that. Okay, that's that sex pest Bryan Singer.
What about Selena Apocalypse? That was a pretty good one too.
Yeah, that was the fourth movie, right? That was the fourth.
All right. Rein it in, guys. Rein it in. We gotta get through that news.
All right. The biggest piece of news this week, we got the Eternals trailer.
Man, it took 25 minutes to get to the Eternals trailer. I did not expect that. I did not see that coming.
25 minutes in my life.
The third movie slated to come out this year, right? Yeah.
Yes, 3 of 4. There are 4
Marvel's
MCU
The
movies coming out
Eternals.
this year.
Tell me
Well,
who the
who-
Eternals are, Frank.
Who designed that spaceship? That's pretty sweet. That looks pretty
The
good.
Pizza Hut box.
It's like a flying V guitar from the
Yeah,
80s.
yeah. It's pretty sweet. Like you expect Bill and Ted to be like riding on the top of it. I don't know a whole lot about the Eternals actually, so I'm looking forward to learning with everybody.
The Eternals, if I remember correctly, were actually Marvel asking Jack Kirby after he had gone to DC for a while and done the New Gods, and which was just trippy, right? It was just like Jack Kirby unhinged, man. He got to draw crazy shit and just come up with crazy characters and stuff. He came back and they're like, do that for us. Do that for us. And so it's just this crazy group of characters that's supposed to be like just literally otherworldly. Like they're and they've been kind of planted here. I think they were assigned by the Celestials, if I remember correctly, to come to, like, they're each given a planet to go and protect, and they're supposed to protect the planet Earth from these things called the Deviants. And so the Celestials have actually been cleverly planted in the MCU throughout the movies already. We've actually seen them. We've seen one of them was. Do you remember when Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy lands on that planet? I think Morad or whatever, and like he goes there to get the gem. It's at the very beginning of the movie, and he's like dancing to the "Come and get your love." Remember that? And like and he uses that crazy machine to like reverse time to like see what transpired on that planet before he got there. And like there's a giant creature, like a giant person walking around, I think carrying the Power Stone. That's a Celestial. And then later in Guardians of the Galaxy, they go to that space station called Nowhere. That's actually a head.
Benicio's house.
Yeah, that head is another head of a Celestial. So like they're these really ancient giant beings that exist in the universe, and so they're tied to the Eternals. They send them here, and they protect. But like their job is also supposed to remain hidden. And so the trailer is kind of suggesting that we will get an answer for why we never saw them until now. And I think the now is the snap. I think the snap is the catalyst for finally saying, okay, that was not cool.
World War II. So, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Malekith attacking the Earth.
World War II ain't. Their job was not to protect Earth from their own fights. That's not their job. So it's not a Wonder Woman situation. It's not like
Loki.
It's not like
the Destroyer.
New York.
Yeah, again, that was a pretty isolated incident. You got to see the problem. The problem right now is you're thinking too small picture, and they're way big picture. And so the only trick is they have to sell that to the audience. They have to sell it, because I know there's a lot of negativity going into that, because Wonder Woman burned us so hard because they never really gave good excuses for why Wonder Woman didn't help with other things besides World War I. But the Eternals, it's way bigger than that. So we'll see.
It looks good though. It looks really, it looks visually looks nice, and it looks like they got a decent cast with it. And so I'm excited to kind of see what they do with it.
I'm surprised they didn't push it in the trailer, but the director, Chloe Zhao, coming off that Best Director.
Yeah, she got the Oscar this year for Best Picture. Yeah, and Best Director.
Chloe Zhao also wanted to shoot on location, so a lot of that stuff isn't the traditional Marvel green screen. It's actually on location, so that's why it looks a lot better.
They filmed it on Earth?
They went to ancient Samaria. They went to ancient Samaria.
She wants to do everything the way.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah, we'll do it live. Let's go, Marty. It's your kids.
Well, I mean, like those slides. Like the thing I was trying to like, because I helped curate those slides. The thing I was like having fun noticing is like the visuals of it were really beautiful. Like the colors, the compositions of each frame. Like it was really cool looking. So just on that merit alone, I'm excited to see that movie, because I think it's going to be a visual spectacle. And so, I'm on board for all of them. I don't have a choice, like at this point, right? Like we have to, and we do this podcast, so like we kind of have to go see these movies. And
I'm curious how they handle the ensemble. because last time we saw an ensemble superhero movie where we have never met most of the cast.
They
That didn't
knocked
really
it
go
out of
well.
the park.
Are you talking about Guardians?
I
Guardians
was
of the
talking
Galaxy?
about. I was talking about Justice League. That was the
Oh, I
last
thought you
time.
meant the last time Marvel did it, because Marvel knocks it
yeah.
out of the park every time they
I
do
mean,
that.
we need a good sex pest to do the movie. That way, we can ensure that the movie is done well. Like we need a James Gunn.
We're calling James Gunn a sex pest. That's not
I
fair.
thought he was a sex
Yeah.
pest. Isn't he a sex
No,
pest?
he's not a sex pest. He tweeted stuff that people didn't like. He tweeted
He's
jokes.
a tweet sex pest.
He's a person who doesn't understand that 20 years after you tweet something, the context might change. And now it's no longer funny to make jokes about the things he did then. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a sex pest. Don't like
that you know of.
Yeah.
Yes, that I know of. Okay.
He makes movies too well to not be a sex pest. Like Zack Snyder, oddly enough, he's probably not a sex pest.
Oh man, Brian, did you have any closing thoughts on the Eternals before we move on to the next subject?
Again, I'm just I really the cast looks amazing, and I'm really excited. And like you said, visually it looks amazing, and I'm okay with spending a couple hours just watching some good brain and eye candy on the screen. So I try not to judge too. I try not to be like too critical. Certain things that I'm definitely more passionate about, but especially if it's something which I'm not familiar with the Eternals, I'm good to just kind of go and sit and see and absorb it. And if it looks good and it's well acted, and I'm happy.
Are you referring to Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek with eye candy, Brian?
He was referring to Kit Harington.
Kit Harington, yes.
Who's actually not an Eternal. He's playing the Black Knight from Arthurian Tales.
And John Madden, right? Isn't John Madden? John Madden football. What's his name?
Yeah, John.
If you're gonna have the Eternals, you got the Eternals over here, and they come down on the cloud. That's a first down, and it's a good time.
Oh man,
what is Rob Stark's real name? Is it John Madden? It's not John Madden.
Something Madden. Richard Madden.
Is it
Richard Madden? Okay, cool.
I think so.
He's the one that bangs Elton John, right, in the movie in Rocket Man.
What?
But every time I see him,
spoilers.
Every time I see him, though, standing there,
that's Taron Egerton. That's Taron Egerton.
I'm waiting for him to get shanked for the Red Wedding again. So every time I just see him, I just have that, spoiler.
I will say,
he's just there when
you have an ensemble as big as the Eternals, expect at least one of them to die.
Yeah,
because you don't have. That's a lot of characters to make your audience remember, unless they die.
It's a lot of contracts you got to break right there.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, let's move on. We got a little bit more news
about your addiction.
He was the one that was banging Elton John in Rocket Man.
Oh, banging! I thought you said played Elton John.
No, I said banging.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. There's
and
a lot of.
They were banging missionary style too. So
okay.
you know it's love. You know it's love.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, let's talk about Marvel Legends. Hasbro had. I guess they wanted to do a 4-day weekend because they broke their trend. Normally they do a live stream on a Friday of the month, like one Friday of the month. But this time they're like, nah, we're doing it on a Thursday because it's Memorial Weekend. So they revealed a bunch of stuff. They did wave 4 of these little guys, the little tiny retro style ones, and I thought these were funny because they're only on their 4th wave. And they're already reusing molds. So we've seen a Spider-Man before. So they're like, let's just paint it black. Let's paint it black. It's only got 4 points of articulation, whatever. Now it's black. So here's the black suit Spider-Man. And then they're like, what can we do with this one? Iron Man, stealth costume. Let's paint it blue. Paint it blue. We got it. Yes. It's not, look at these toys, guys. I'm not saying people don't like them, but they're pretty simple to make, and so it's just pretty funny that on their 4th wave they're already reusing the stuff they have in the back. And then look at this. What can we do with Captain America? Paint him black. He's U.S. agent. There you go. It's so good, so good. But I'm hating on him because
isn't that accurate though, kind of to the original toy?
It is. I'm just being silly, but yes, it is accurate. It's just. you would like to think that they had more new molds coming before they just start reusing, but they did have 3 other ones that are new, and so they're pretty cool looking. If you got the next one going, they got a Loki. It's
cool.
a tiny Loki.
Look at them hot pants.
Yeah, he's got hot pants and he's got his big horns, classic look and stuff. And I do really like the art on the boxes. I think it's cute. Like it's really like retro style. And everything. And there's classic Storm. It's pretty cool. I mean, it looks like Storm. And then you can't hate on the fact that the Silver Surfer actually comes with a board that still fits in on that card in that little bubble in there. Look at that.
It almost looks like an eraser, though. Like it's almost like it's almost so fake.
Yeah.
It
does. And I think it's funny that the board does not match his paint job.
Yeah.
No.
Is there a button on the back that turns on his abs so that you can look and watch TV on his abs, like in the movie?
No. Those figures are only $13. Oh. And then we've shown this one before, but they moved on to the bigger 6-inch figures. So they showed this one before as like a teaser a few months ago, I think. It's Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth, and like a year ago, they did an entire wave based on the Age of Apocalypse storyline, which is a very, very 90s storyline where like Legion goes back in time and tries to change the events of X-Men's history. And then ultimately, of course, like every time somebody does that, they come back to the future and it's all different and stuff like that. So in the 90s, everybody just redesigned all the X-Men and did crazy, weird 90s looks and made some bad guys good guys and some good guys bad guys. And so this is the Sabretooth for the wave, and they just wanted to re-show us him so that they could show the rest of the wave that they're doing an entire Age of Apocalypse themed wave. So there's Magneto. Brian, what do you think of his hair?
It looks like appropriation.
I'm not a fan. I'm not used to Magneto with hair like that. So
you guys are braidcist.
It's comic accurate though, and he's got the longer face mask. See, you have the alternate head, so you can you can put the head on, but it's still got the hair too. It's pretty awesome.
You just get some wire.
I like that the hair comes with the extra head, like just snaps on the front.
Yes,
it's like a harness
there. There is Rogue, who was actually romantically involved with Magneto in this storyline. Wow, that is a costume, man.
Nice, perfect.
Look at the moon boots on this character, man. Like those are impressive.
I dig the shoulders. The puffy shoulders.
She's the basis for Cherry Bomb, right?
No.
She is.
Nope.
No. There is Iceman.
That's cool.
He's pretty much just Iceman, but without a face, without a mask. Or I mean, he's got he covered his mouth, and he's just like in the Age of Apocalypse, Iceman's like almost like a god. He's like pretty elemental status.
So that's Iceman with COVID with the mask.
Yeah, it's Iceman with COVID. And then this one's one of my favorites. So freaking ridiculous. You don't know who that is?
Is that Cyclops?
Yes.
One.
But his hair's covering his eye. Isn't he gonna
No, it's not.
burn his hair?
He's literally Cyclops.
Oh, that's fucking dumb.
He only has one. He only has one eye.
That was Ricky's breaking point.
Yeah, that was it.
He saw Cherry Bomb, COVID, Iceman, and
in the Age of Apocalypse, Wolverine took out one of his eyes, and Cyclops took out one of Wolverine's hands.
So if he's shooting his eye, can he see? Like
you're asking that question about one eye, but not two.
If he's shooting his eye,
why? Okay,
he's shooting the laser.
Move on. That your question was immediately invalidated. This is Shadowcat.
Agatha Harkness.
No, this is Shadowcat, who's actually romantically involved with Wolverine.
She looks like when you walk into a bar to meet like a Tinder date, and they're just not what they look like in the picture. That's that expression.
I you know what? I got nothing for that. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty good.
That's oddly specific.
And then what do you guys think of this figure?
Guile's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a reboot Kid and Play from the 1990s.
I don't know what you gonna do.
It is Legion. It is the character I mentioned earlier, is the one that time traveled back and changed everything.
Is this the one that show's based off of?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Yes.
Why
is
you say it like that?
he is one of the most powerful mutants in the Marvel universe.
But he can't afford shoes.
This is him when he's locked up. Those are medical scrubs. I think he's either in a hospital or it's to the story. I don't know why you're bashing on his clothes when after all the ones we just saw. Like this guy's actually dressed kind of normal compared to everybody else we just saw. But yeah, and then the build a figure is Age of Apocalypse Colossus, which is freaking massive and ridiculous looking. I swear to God, this comic is so bad. But it does say what you will, it has iconic looks. It does have iconic looks. I don't hate the looks. I just honestly, when you put them all together, they look really cool. But individually, like if you saw this guy walking down the street, like this is you got to question his.
I would assume he's looking for his bicycle and he's going to go ride the trail with his biker shorts. And
this is like an alternate Hulk Hogan from 1990s.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
See that?
So yeah, that's the Age of Apocalypse wave. It came out available for pre-order yesterday, and and then C5721, and then as a bonus, they also had a new Spider-Man 2099 figure, also from an alternate future, and they've actually made this figure before, but this one's with a newer metallic paint job and some new hands and stuff, and so yeah. That one came out for pre-order yesterday too.
Whoa!
So yeah, and then for fun, they did reveal some new things. Like they showed off. This is Frank. Frank knows who this is.
Yeah, that's Battle Cat. That's He-Man's noble steed. He starts off as Cringer and then he zaps her.
That's why you're here, Frank.
That's Tigra. She's a mainstay in the West Coast Avengers.
Yeah. I'm excited.
They made her wear a bikini all the time. Like that's kind of shitty.
That's her outfit, dude.
Yeah,
that's
she
her
wanted
outfit.
to wear.
Hey, man, Cheetah walks around naked, so this is an upgrade as far as parents are concerned, at least.
Yeah, they're all like, put some clothes on when you're sitting in the Avengers mansion. Oh my God, that couch is like 300.
Don't scoot your butt on the floor, Tiger.
Yeah, Tiger.
Bad.
Yeah. And then, Ricky, you skipped over the other ones. I wanted to show Frank. Frank, a few weeks ago, or a few months, I think a couple months ago, they did a tease, and we asked you what you thought it was. They showed a sword, and you weren't sure what the sword was from, but they were teasing a set that was going to come out later in the year. Oh, cool. And then they follow that up with another tease, but then Ricky decided that it wasn't worth showing, so then he canceled his slides. And now we're sitting here, and I'm trying to waste time prepping you for the tease.
You can waste a few more time
before he can get
a little bit more
it.
time.
Okay.
But yeah, if you remember, I said, you weren't sure what the sword was from, and then I found a comic book cover that I thought looked exactly like that sword.
Yeah, you thought it was like Valkyrie's.
Oh, you went, Ricky, go back one slide, man.
Oh, so that's Ilyana Rasputin's blade, I'm assuming.
Ricky hit left
because of Lockheed. Is that who they cast for Ilyana Rasputin going forward?
No. So that was the.
She's pretty hot.
Ricky ruined it. It's fine. It's fine. No worry. So for fun, the guy was pretending to show the sword, but before he showed the sword, he showed the back of a head of a woman, and you were supposed to be able to recognize. There it is, Ricky. Okay. Show it. Show the picture. Who is this? Who's the back of the head?
That is Gwen Stacy. No. That's Honey Boo Boo. That is Honey Boo Boo, who now wields the Vorpal blade.
What if I told you that briefly you could see elf ears on this head?
Can you?
When he was holding, when it was live, he moved it, and we saw pointy ears on her as he was moving it.
Nice.
Do you know who this is?
No.
It's Megan.
Megan Fox?
No.
Megan Trainor?
Okay, go to the next one again, Ricky.
I know you're lying. Your lips are moving.
That's Excalibur, Frank.
Oh, nice.
It's Excalibur.
Well, why is Lockheed sitting there? He's gonna get hurt.
because he's part of the team Excalibur.
Okay.
Wait, do you not read Excalibur?
No, I thought we had already said that it was Excalibur.
Oh, well, I thought you knew. I thought you would have recognized Megan and been excited about that. I guess. You know what? Let's just move on past this whole segment.
I was more excited when I thought it was Megan Trainor, because that would be a really cool
that's
addition
fair.
to the MCU.
All right, here's new comics for anybody who wanted to see what came out this week. Frank, you can look over the list. Brian, have fun. If you could pick a fun voice to read some of these titles in, that would be great. Just to let people know what they can pick up this week.
Well, on this week's episode, you can pick up Amazing Spider-Man number 66, Black Knight, Curse of the Ebony Blade number 3. You can also check out Captain America number 29, Champions number 7. You can also get Daredevil number 30. Get it, do it now, do it. And then there's like Fantastic Four, Life Story number 1. Let's see, who else? Who else can we do? We'll go old school. We'll do a little, that is Weird Wild. That is Heroes Reborn. That is, if anyone can figure that out, that is Johnny Carson. Number 3, the Immortal Hulk. Let me tell you something, brother. Time of Monsters number 1. What you gonna do when Time of Monsters runs out on you? You also have, I'm just being weird. I have no idea what I'm doing anymore. You could be checking out the Mighty Valkyries number 2. But there's also Runaways number 36 and Chaos Theory. Let's see, who else is there? Gosh, my brain is melting here. Let's see. Hey, Rocky, we can check out Shang-Chi number 1. Sure, Bullwinkle. I don't think people watching this know who you're doing. That's okay, Rock. It's Star Wars Bounty Hunters number 12.
Oh, man.
The Trials of Ultraman number 3, and there's the Way of X number 2. Don't forget Wolverine number 12.
Okay, and there's 2 more slides to read. No, don't. That was amazing. Somebody give him applause. I want to believe that the audience is watching that and loving that.
My brain just completely. I do all these voices, and my brain just goes. I don't remember any of them. So
yeah, I'm humbled to have you do that. You do not feel the need to read the new collections that came out as well. But there, if you're watching and you didn't know, that's what's available. You can pause it and
hey, you got applause in the chat.
Yes.
Oh, thank you,
Selena. Thank you for applauding. That's
thank
awesome.
you,
Selena.
Yes.
She's alive. And then moving on.
Wait, before you go on, Shang-Chi number 1, that was a pretty cool book. I picked it up, I read it. It's kind of weird because it does that thing that we were talking about where like the number 1 has like Spider-Man. Spider-Man shows up, so hey Shang-Chi, like let's do some stuff together.
Your voices are not as good as
I can't follow that act.
Oh, come on, Frank, you can do it. Just believe in yourself. Oh, Frank.
Yeah, but so he unwittingly becomes Shang-Chi ends up being the leader of his criminal organization called like I don't know, the 5 Squares or something like that. It's not the 10 Rings. It's a 5 something or other.
It's like the 4 Tops.
Yeah, the 4 he becomes a leader of the 4 Seasons, and they end up having to do bad stuff. It's pretty cool. It's a fun book. It's a fun little romp, but with Spider-Man, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's how you do. That's just how Marvel does.
Then next issue, he's fighting Captain America. You see him punching Captain America.
Of course.
So
yeah, and then by the way, we did also show all the new stuff that came out for Marvel Unlimited on your digital app this week. So cool. I think that was all the news, right, Ricky? Ricky's muted.
Yeah, he is.
It's probably better this way. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, Ricky, you're gone. You're gone, brother.
He's gonna do that walking against the wind shit, and then.
All right. Well, since you guys did bring something up, and we do want to get to Hard Duck pretty quick, I just wanted to have a fun question for you guys. I guess, Ricky, you're having some serious technical difficulties.
Am I?
There you are. There
now.
you are.
All
You're
right.
back.
And he's back.
This is kind of inspired and by some of the things that we just saw, and also some of the questions that you were asking me earlier. But here's the question of the week: what is your relationship with comic book accuracy when translated to other media? I say this because the Hasbro guys were almost apologizing for how ridiculous those toys looked. but they're quick to remind, like, hey man, we're just trying to make them look the way they looked because this is what you guys want.
Wow.
And so they didn't actually apologize,
Way to
but
point the finger. You wanted this.
But yeah, you wanted this, and I guess they were showing their age, because like I'm of the age like where I was a little too old to be into Age of Apocalypse, because it's from the late 90s, and I was already kind of getting a little past reading everything back then.
Moved on
and
to
so
Spawn point.
yeah, really I had so a lot of those guys, are of similar age to me and Frank and Brian. So they don't necessarily get it, but they understand that there's a whole section of their collectors that are way into that, because that's where they were onboarded onto comics. And so what I think's funny is that in the instance of those toys, detailed 100% accuracy is what's expected, right?
Mhm.
But then you go and watch like a Captain America movie, and you kind of hope they take liberties with things, right, and stuff. So I was just curious where you guys all fall on that kind of subject. Look at Frank shaking his head.
I think for me, it's sorry to cut you off on your own show. I think for me, if it's like an action figure or something, and they're doing a particular type of art style or set, then I'm a little more okay and forgiving if they deviate from the comic books. When I see something like in a movie, like you said, and they give them these new, whether it's a new power or a new thing to their suit, I think they do that just obviously for more visual. And I just kind of go, I guess to me it's a little more dependent on what they do. But I generally like on like I said, on like any other sort of action figures or physical media, I like it to be pretty much with the original comic books are, with maybe just an updated style, whether it's a little brighter color or but mostly the same detail. That's just mine.
Go Ricky.
I have a pretty low bar. If they look like the thing, they do the thing that they're known for doing. And the story, like when you make an outline, you have the bullet points, and then under those bullet points, you have the subheadings. Just forget the subheadings. If you can do the bullet point stuff, it's good enough for me.
So like
they look
wire.
cool. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So like a Thor toy just needs to have a hammer.
That's it.
It doesn't have to
give
look
me
like
the
Thor.
Hammer. It doesn't have to look, just give me white dude with hammer.
He needs to look like Vincent D'Onofrio.
It's just a carpenter. Carpenter with long hair, with a ball and peen hammer, and
honestly, if we were to follow Ricky's like actual advice, we should have just gone with the main heading, because when he said I have a low bar, that pretty much tracks with how Ricky's assessment of comic book adaptations to other things. But Frank, what about you?
I think Captain America was kind of a bad example, just because you want him fighting Nazis and doing stuff. Like it's cool that they took certain liberties, but he kind of has to do that in his inaugural movie,
Oh
he throws the
yeah,
shield. Sure. He wears a stupid helmet.
And I think Marvel did a good job of adapting. I think the main thing, I know I was a stickler before, and everything needed to be comic accurate, or I'd be pissed at the movie. I didn't care if it was like a detriment to the story or the plot or my sensibilities, but like nowadays, I'm just like, if you capture the spirit of the thing, kind of like what Ricky said, but with the higher bar. If you capture the spirit of the thing and they do the thing and they look accurate, well, the looking accurate is icing on the cake. As long as they capture the spirit of everything, I'm fine with it. I'm too old to care.
I think Sea Cow Soda is kind of in agreement with you here. She said, "I'm chaos alignment, so I appreciate when creators try new things and go way off the accuracy." But I think she does mean to say capture the spirit in there as well.
Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, like for me, it's a matter of it depends on the media, right? Because like Brian was saying, if I'm going to go buy a physical object that has no story to tell, that is meant for me to tell the story, then I want it to look 100% accurate, right? But if the media is another form of telling the story, right? If it's going to be a movie, a TV show, a cartoon, a podcast, and there's actually a story to be told, then I'm willing to let more things slide depending, like
well, look at like
depending.
Wolverine from the X-Men movies. Granted, we never got him in the suit, and he's also Wolverine's a short guy. Hugh Jackman's like 6 something. He captured the spirit of Wolverine. He did Wolverine things. We even got an R-rated Wolverine movie where we saw him cut off people's arms and shit. Like, that's the bar for me. I'm glad we got all of that. Would have the suit been cool?
That's not quite the bar for me.
No, the suit would not have been cool.
It's not quite it wasn't quite the bar. I definitely feel like with Captain America, they did take liberties because the suit was changed to be a realistic interpretation because that's what Marvel was going with the movies, right? The movies were trying to take
the other suit, though.
Yeah, but we still got the other suit first.
Yeah.
That's the important.
Totally not knocking that. But I'm just saying, they were like, we can't have him wearing this through the whole movie.
What I'm saying,
we have to give him something realistic.
Well, you get the money shot, and then his helmet comes off. Oh no!
Wait, which movie were you watching? I was watching.
But yeah,
that's the one from the stills that I sent
scene,
you, Dennis.
I think I've seen that one too.
The Scarlet Witch one. Yeah.
Like, as long as you got the money shot in there, you're in the clear to take off the costume.
He's going to double down on that one right now. And I just want to point out the viewer count is dropping right now as Ricky's like talking about money shots. So
I don't need Hugh Jackman to show up in his little kitty cat suit fighting the Incredible Hulk. Like I don't really need that. But Hugh Jackman gave me the attitude that I wanted. So
gave you the two.
But I will say I don't think most of the stories that he was in did Wolverine justice. I think his acting did Wolverine justice. I
don't think any of the stories in the X-Men franchise from Fox did any of the characters.
I think the second one did a pretty good job for
God kills, men do something else.
God loves, man kills.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah. That was a pretty good X-Men 2 was a pretty fun movie.
There were some money shots. No, I'm not saying that the movies weren't fun, and I'm not saying that you didn't get money shots in the movies. I'm saying that they weren't accurate to comic book stories, and they didn't necessarily do justice to all the characters. Especially Cyclops, who they just shit on. Like it's just 2 hours of like wiping shit all over Cyclops.
Well, on the subject of totally
money
inaccurate
shots
representations of comic book characters, not money shots.
There was money shots in this movie.
I think it's about time. I think we're overdue. I know Brian's wanted to, and Brian likes to make fun of me for how long it takes to get to the main course of this meal. I like to hang out, I like to chew my food slowly, just so you know, guys. So
nope.
I don't mind sitting around for an hour and a half talking about all the food we're eating and stuff. But I think the main course, it's time, Ricky. So let's do it. Oh man, this is a thing. This is a thing we did, guys. This is a thing. It's I guess whoever's
gonna say it. Who's gonna say it first?
With us. We've waited long enough. It's time to put the spotlight on Howard the Duck. Fair warning, there will be spoilers. 1986. I don't know, man.
It was a different time.
Yeah, where do you want to start in this movie?
Where do you want to start?
Well, I had never seen it. I love movies. I love a lot of cinema, and this is just something I never got around to. I'm very familiar with how much money it lost and kind of the bigger story and the cult status behind it, but I just never watched it.
Are you? It actually profited technically.
Really?
It cost I think like 32 million and made worldwide it made 37. But
that's not
over
a
time.
Profit.
Over time. That's profit.
Yep.
At the box office, you got to make double.
Yep, right at the beginning.
This was 1986 time. In 1986,
yes.
That's fair. I'll say it was for what they were given. It was not a bad movie.
Wow. Okay.
I did not hate.
I'm so happy that we have that soundbite of Ricky saying, "I have a low bar."
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think he's being ironic though. He means bad as in good, like in the '80s interpretation of bad. He's not a bad movie, you know.
You know, I obviously wasn't around in the 80s, but this movie just, it seemed like everyone was, on drugs. Everyone was quasi sexist and racist, and horny at the same time. Like, and yet this is somehow like a child's movie.
This was Zack Snyder, the Duck, actually. Sea Cow Soda has a question, Dennis. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, sorry, I can't see it right now.
Oh, she's about two up.
Are you allowed to show it?
I don't know.
Ricky, share it. No, he can't.
There you go.
Are you allowed to show duck boobies on YouTube? LOL. Did Ricky do that?
Yeah,
I wasn't
showed
looking.
the first shot.
Man,
Yeah,
nice.
The first two shots.
Sorry. I was looking through my notes, guys.
Yeah,
so
I'll put them back up for you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I do have a question about those duck boobs since you're bringing them up. If their entire species evolved on Duck World, which, like, by the way, who names your planet Duck World? Like, that's like if we named our planet Human World. Like, it's just, I don't know. That seems like really long. But if they evolved from ducks and ducks lay eggs, why do they have boobs? Like, why do they have nipples specifically?
Yeah.
And what does it look like when a duck breastfeeds?
Well, I think it's all mostly for plastic surgery. That's where the boobs come from, is plastic surgery.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a movie. Brian, tell us your thoughts on this, because you told us, Brian, when we invited you to the show, I told you, hey man, your homework, I'm sorry, is you got to watch Howard the Duck, and you were like, man, that was one of my favorite movies as a kid.
Yep.
How do you feel about that now?
It's changed. I'm not gonna lie. I watched it for free, and I want my money back. Yeah, it was long. It was about a half hour. Well, it was about an hour and 50 minutes too long. But it was really, like, I found myself, the last, 25 minutes or whatever, fine. There's plenty of action, but I was finding myself just like, are we there yet? How much time has gone by?
It's like a whole hijinks, like, second act of, let's put Howard in these funny situations. And
right, he's a duck. Let's put him in a restaurant. And let's see what wacky stuff can come here. Hey, I know Quack Sue. Hey, and it was just, I didn't even know that it was based off a Marvel character, which I was stunned to find that out. And
did you know this was the first theatrical Marvel movie that they had done since 1944's Captain America?
And I can see why it was probably the last one for a long time, because that was
a while.
Yeah, that was it. That killed the MCU, actually.
Although I will say the reason I liked it is I'm a huge Leah Thompson fan, and I was younger, when that came out, so huge crush on her. So you say Leah Thompson and anything, there we go. I'm good. I'm happy. I'll focus on her, and obviously, we have the principal from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which I'm sure we'll talk
Jeffrey
about.
Jones.
So, Jeffrey Jones, and then is Tim Robbins with it?
Tim Robbins.
Yep. So it was interesting to going back and watching it and seeing, the different characters and the cast. And I'm not going to lie, I did have trouble kind of with Jeffrey Jones there.
Is it because he's a sex pest and the way he was looking at Howard?
Yeah,
he's a bad actor.
Hey, you're pretty young.
It's one of those
Brian
things
overlooks.
He's like, you look like a little baby.
I like it. Oh no, but once you know that, it's kind of hard to like turn that off. Like me going and watching Bill Cosby now, and it's kind of like, just kind of, it's there.
Yeah. You know what helped is I didn't know, or I had forgotten. So it didn't bother me. I was just like, hey, that's that dude from Deadwood. Deadwood's a good show.
He's on Deadwood also?
Yeah, he is on Deadwood.
That's cool.
But
I mean, for a 1986 movie, what they were doing with it and trying to make it cute and clever and all the play on, the duck theme, and it was back then it was cool. But
did you guys see this movie in theaters?
No, I didn't.
No.
Hey, really quick, for anybody who's watching or listening who hasn't watched Howard the Duck, I did write a brief synopsis. I mean, it's kind of brief. Like it's look, it's an hour and 50-minute movie that goes all over the place. So I tried my best, but do you guys want to hear it?
Starts in Duck World.
Yes, it does start in Duck World. All right, here we go. Howard the Duck is chilling in his living room when he's suddenly propelled into outer space, eventually landing in Cleveland, Ohio, for some reason, whatever. He befriends Beverly after fending off attackers using quack foo. So naturally, she takes him back to her apartment. Beverly takes Howard the next day to meet a scientist with big quotes around scientists named Phil, who might be able to send him back to his planet, but Phil turns out to be a janitor. So at this point in the movie, Howard basically says, fuck it, and becomes a janitor at a romance spa. But then he quits that job and ends up managing Beverly's band. This is where the movie's going at like the midway point. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Back at Beverly's place, now Howard's about to get some with his unwrapped condom, most likely. And
so you could use it again.
Like, right until the new friend Phil barges into Beverly's apartment, because that's like a thing you do, apparently.
He said the door was open.
The door was open. And he brings 2 real scientists with him who believe it was their experiment that brought Howard to Earth. And they may be able to reverse it. Unfortunately, when they decide like right away they're going back to the lab, but somehow they beat Howard there. And they have another malfunction of their device. And this time, Dr. Jennings, who is one of the scientists, gets implanted by a Dark Lord of the universe.
Dark Overlord.
Dark Overlord,
Dark Overlord. Sorry, Dark Overlord of the universe. And then at this point, guys, I'm serious. Like, way more stupid shit happens, including a bunch of people trying to kill and eat Howard while, like, who's a talking, like, 3-foot duck. And people are like, we should eat that thing.
That's Fuck so yeah, weird. That's a lot of meat. That's quacky. That's a lot.
And the whole time, it's just so that we can like stall so that the Dark Overlord can like gain powers, and then he turns into like nightmare fuel at the end of the freaking movie. Sure. But it's okay because Howard saves the day by blasting him with like some sci-fi gun that he and Phil like found in the back room.
That's the laser spectroscope. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, they destroyed the laser spectroscope. Right. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Don't try to mansplain Howard the Duck to me. I watched this stupid movie too. And you know what? And they blow up the laser spectroscope, so Howard's just, I guess he's kind of stuck here. But it's okay because, you know, he's got Beverly and yay. The end.
Howard the Duck.
Yeah. Oh my
God.
God.
Which, by the way, the crowd starts chanting for Howard. Like, how pissed would you be if you're in the band?
Yeah.
Like, that's their closing act.
He comes out by accident, of course, because there's a malfunction, and all of a sudden he's going to play guitar, which he wasn't supposed to be there. This is their final song, and then everybody starts chanting their manager's name, Howard.
It's a really good thing that he knows how to play the guitar. Otherwise, that would have been a really embarrassing incident at that concert.
So dude, what was this movie, man?
But like you were saying, like even the point when you get to Dr. Jennings, which is, you know,
that's 55 minutes.
It's 50. Yeah, it's like an hour into the movie, and you're just like, oh my God, when?
Yeah, I paused it at that point, and I was like, dude, I was telling my wife, I'm like, do you realize that we're like 50 minutes into this movie, and there's still no antagonist?
Yes,
there's no antagonist in this movie yet. Like, yeah.
There is an antagonist. It's the human race, because everyone in that movie is shitty. They're so bad.
Not Beverly and not Holly Robinson. Beverly. Holly Robinson's in the movie.
Just Beverly. Maybe Holly Robinson.
And Beverly is, let's say, quick to fall in love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just meets him. Do you want to come to my place? I owe you. I'll get you there, my little ducky. Whatever, like.
Yeah.
Oh, ducky.
She gets almost raped in like the first 5 minutes of that movie. Like straight up.
They said, "Give me your wallet." I think.
Yeah, autograph. They wanted the autograph on like the shirt.
You went there. That's where your mind went. But they actually said words that suggested that they were trying to rob her. They did.
You guys are crazy.
No, we all watched the same movie. God. Frank, were they trying to rape her?
I get the impression that they were, but you know, you can kind of, if it's the 80s, I guess, and they were like more they were more free about putting things like that in movies and being like, oh cool, these guys are bad, let's make them rapists. Like it's like a shorthand for making someone a bad guy.
Yeah. I think it was more of a mugging. personally.
It-
Just
Well, back
it was
back
not.
to the
It was not
whole-
going to be missionary style like Elton John and
Okay.
Richard Madden.
Ian has to say, yeah, she was so
Yeah.
quick. She was ready for one night with that duck action.
yeah,
And then Sea Cow Soda did confirm it was rapey. I mean, I'm not saying like it absolutely wasn't, but I think the dialogue that was going on was suggesting otherwise.
They
Like,
didn't straight out
it was
say, "I'm
80s
going to
rapey.
rape you." They
Yeah,
were like
but
grabbing her hips.
but,
and,
yeah,
like,
but
you
they did,
wouldn't,
but they
I
did,
mean-
but they did straight out ask her for the things that they were going to rob her of. You know, like so.
yeah. We call that 80s rapey. That's
Yeah,
in
there you go. There you go.
terms-
It's like Revenge of the Nerds rapey.
80.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'll concede that. That's fine.
Hey, honey, and you're gonna like shake the hips.
we can move past this because I don't need like 10 minutes of me defending rapists. That's okay. Like that's not what I'm trying to do here, guys.
Well, in terms of the story, it was fairly comic accurate, right? In terms of how Howard meets Beverly, or no? Like, what is the Howard the Duck story?
Okay, maybe the part where like so the creator actually said he was pretty happy with the depiction of Howard and Beverly, which is funny because the movie has been panned for being the polar opposite of what the comic book is. Now, I'm not going to go and say like I'm a giant Howard the Duck fan and I know everything about Howard the Duck, but I do know that it's supposed to be like he's supposed to be rude, he's supposed to be snarky, it's supposed to be a surreal, absurdist kind of story that like is introspective and making you question the meaning of life and things like that. And I don't know, that's exactly what I got from that movie, right? Like,
if there's one thing that we got from that movie, it was that.
yes.
I just love the excessive use of duck that they said in that movie, like 9,000,000 times.
You know what I think was used more excessively? Everybody's names. Every dude, like I was noticing this, like with my wife, like they say Beverly, they say Filzy, they say Howard, and they say Jennings so much that I will never forget their characters' names. Like it's every other sentence. It's like Filzy, you gotta do this. Oh, Howard, I don't know how to do this.
That's 80s though.
Beverly, I know 80s. It is.
Yeah.
It is quite 80s. But man, I like the names so many times. Do you want to know something? You want to know something funny about the way Howard looks? I do have fun facts. Oh God, guys, I have so many of them this time around.
Can we speak about different things? Can we talk about things before you talk about?
Fine.
Go for it.
Go.
I don't have anything to say. I was just asking. Good.
I just wanted to show you. This is what Howard the Duck used to look like, and Frank had a comment about that, right?
I said he looks like Donald Duck.
Yeah. Do you know that they actually
he doesn't wear pants?
They actually had several meetings with Disney lawyers to adjust the look of Howard until the point where he did not look like Donald Duck, to make sure that they wanted to proactively not get sued for this movie. I thought that was pretty funny.
What's weird is that he made his debut in Adventure into Fear, which is one of Man-Thing's comics. And in his first issue, when he shows up, when he's brought by unseen forces from Duck World to Earth, I don't know if it's Duck World in comic, but whatever. He meets up with Man-Thing in the first issue. He does that thing, that trope that I'm always talking about that they do.
It's putting one over.
That sounds pretty accurate.
Putting one over.
Got brought to Earth by unseen forces.
Yeah, and then he meets Man-Thing in Beverly, right? Is that what you're? Beverly's the Man-Thing. Oh man, what a deep cut!
No, she's not the Man-Thing. No. Yeah, Ricky, here's what I will say about to answer your question from earlier. How accurate is it? I saw this movie as a kid. I probably didn't hate it the way I do now.
Yeah.
But I do know that what I saw was enough to never incentivize me to go read a Howard the Duck comic book.
Like, was it wild having like the duck boob in there? Like, was that a big contention in this movie when you remember going to see it?
I remember it as a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think we went to see it. Did we?
Well, when you saw it,
we
like,
did?
I don't know.
Nobody went to see it, but
I saw it on somebody's.
I saw it on like
home
HBO or
and
something.
Cable, yeah.
like I can't even imagine flying back then. Like that just seems so like left field.
There was a little bit of a like a little bit of a controversy with the bestiality in the movie. I know some Christian people were protesting.
I think overall, just tonally, it's all over the place, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it wants to be sweet and lighthearted and fun, but then it's like showing you. It showed Duck Bush too, by the way. I don't know if you guys caught that in that Play Duck magazine.
Was it George or W or
no
or Jed?
No, in the Play Duck. Yeah, I'm not gonna point at it.
That doesn't look like Jeb.
Yeah. But anyways, it's like so weird how much
it gets kind of raunchy and then it's like playful. Like I love the plane scene kind of. Like it just went on way too long, but I appreciate the action.
They call that an ultralight, that vehicle. It's an ultralight.
The ultralight.
Yeah.
It's weird because usually, when they have things that are both adult and for kids, it's like they have that like really subtle line, but you can
veil,
pick it up.
Right? The veil.
But this is just like straight up like, Play Duck and whatever, and you're like, whoa, I remember that from growing. I remember that. I remember Beverly being a guitarist, and then I remember Jennings, turning into the creature at the end. Like that's all I remembered from like 30 years ago. But I still remember the duck boobs.
I have a question based on something you just brought up.
Yeah.
So we saw that poster of like what Breeders of the Lost Ark or something like that.
No. Breeders of the
Lost Quack or something.
Lost something. Yeah.
Whatever. But the point is it's a Indiana Jones spoof, right? It's a parody of Indiana Jones, right?
Drake in the movie.
Yeah. So assuming the movie's relatively similar to our Indiana Jones, but ducks, just replace it all with duck stuff. That means there's like a duck Nazi group, right? And a duck Hitler, right?
Breeders of the Lost Stork.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So there's a duck Hitler. Why do they not have pizza? Like
you're asking like the Cars 2 question. Like in Cars 2, one of the characters makes a reference to World War II, which implies that there's a car Hitler and that there was this car Holocaust.
Wait,
like you open up a can of worms by going down that route.
I thought with Cars, Cars was supposed to take place, at least in the fan theory, like post-apocalypse, where the cars actually gained sentience later. So America, like all the humans and all that stuff played out, and then our time was over, and it was time for the cars.
History's doomed to repeat itself.
Yeah, I think that's what the fan theory was, and maybe the cars are making reference to actual Hitler, and the vehicles that were under his employ.
This is why I talk so much sometimes.
But you bring up a good point, because I believe there was Budweiser on both planets, right? I don't think it was a duck knockoff of. Was it Budweiser?
Man.
Yeah, I think it was Budweiser. It was just filled with puns, man. Just all over the place. Just stupid puns.
Maybe Breeders of the Lost Stork was a porn movie that he had.
maybe.
That picture right there was me 40 minutes into watching the movie. Just
this is specifically the part where he scratches his crotch in reference to the Chips Jockey commercial.
Why were you holding the cigar there, though?
Just for something interesting.
Oh man, it's such a bad movie, guys.
Like I don't think
we're alive.
I don't think it was like executed. The story's bad, but the actual
it should have been executed.
I don't think it was executed that bad.
The cheerleader puppet thing, nice.
Selena, I only watched the last 30 minutes, but Howard reminded me of the cheerleader puppet thing from Chuck E. Cheese. I love it.
That was the best part of the movie. The last 30 minutes was probably.
But you get the payoff too of like Jennings turning into the monster. Like I didn't think they were going to show the monster.
Mitzi Mozzarella. That's the puppet from Chuck E. Cheese.
And yet, Selena, they don't have pizza. They don't know what pizza is. Like he doesn't know what pizza is. That's so.
Ducks can't digest pizza.
And they gave him this Humphrey Bogart type of like persona, like what's up, Toots and Dame, and
oh man, he loved calling people Toots.
Yeah,
the problems of three little.
What is a pizza?
You know what was really funny is like I went down this weird pizza rabbit hole at one point where I was like, wait, maybe it's because there's eggs. Are there eggs
in the dough?
In the dough? And then I ended up asking my Amazon Echo, and I found out there's no eggs in dough.
There's no eggs in dough.
And I was like, oh, okay, never mind. And then like a little later, he's at the diner and they serve him eggs.
Right.
And he loses his shit. And I was like, okay, well, remembering ingredients of pizza is wrong, but the logic still tracks that there's going to be different foods because they don't eat their eggs, I guess. Right. Okay, whatever.
He had little jelly frogs in his fridge. We don't have jelly frogs in our fridge.
That's fair.
At least in our
part of the cannibalism
world. Yeah.
I don't want him to be a cannibal. I'm just saying, like, I don't understand the pizza thing. It really weirded me out.
In Frogland,
he was down with Cajun sushi though.
I'm down with Cajun sushi. I'd go there in a heartbeat right now.
Yeah, I did enjoy the Cajun sushi. That was.
It just sounds good. Like I'm just picturing Cajun flavors on sushi, and it sounds amazing.
What it also is, the thing that it's so insulting, like how dumb everybody in this movie is. They're just like the waitress is just like, how, they're just so.
Well, some people are afraid of Howard. Some people he thinks he's a kid. Like it's just all over the place.
Well, the actor actually, it was all over the place too, because they actually had multiple people in that suit, one of which was a kid. And then because they couldn't violate labor laws for children, they had an after hours actor that played him in the evening because he was actually the guy that originally auditioned for the role, but they didn't like him because he was like too tall. But then they ended up still using him. So like that's what I was noticing through the whole movie.
I was going to mention
Howard gets short and tall and
during
like,
any stunt he gets like 2 feet taller.
Yeah, and it's because he's multiple people, and like eventually, what ended up happening is the kid didn't like it was uncomfortable, the suit and stuff.
I'll bet it was the suit, not
it was Jeffrey Jones. It was Jeffrey Jones. So the kid quit, and then the other actor ended up just being him for the rest of the movie. But it's really funny because it's super all over the place. Like when you're watching his height and scale and the way he moves, his mannerisms. They're not consistent through the whole movie. It's so bad.
You're telling me they made a kid open a Playdog magazine?
Hell yeah.
That's Howard
Jeffrey Jones did.
Yeah.
He's all like, hey, why don't you just read this magazine, kid? And
then when they come in, never mind, I'm just going to shut up.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe save that one for the soapbox. Whatever that was going to be. Ricky, I do appreciate the way your take on it, and like I do see how like there is a version of that story that could have been told better. And in fairness, the people who wrote it, they went to film school with George Lucas, and George Lucas actually wanted to do this movie immediately after
American Graffiti, right?
Immediately after American Graffiti, he wanted to get to work on this because his friends had sold him on this comic. They're like, dude, we got to do this comic. It's really cool. And what ended up happening is like his friends, the writers of it, I have their names written down, but I'll get to them in a little bit. But they actually wanted the movie to be animated. And there was just all this production stuff that happened, like that delayed it, and so the movie didn't end up getting made until finally delivered till 1986. But Universal actually wanted to do this movie because they had passed on all of George Lucas's previous movies, and they're like, dude, we can't miss this opportunity.
This is the one they chose.
This is it. And so what ended up happening is. They were still lobbying for it to be an animated movie, but Universal had an opening in the summer of that year that they really wanted a live action movie. And so George was like, nah, I got ILM. We could knock this out live action, no problem. And so that's how it ended up being this way. But
the effects are cool. Like they're of its time, but I think they're
coolish.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember, this is 3 years after Return of the Jedi. Do you still think the effects are cool?
Yeah. They're coolish.
Yeah.
They're cool-ish.
There's no ducks in Return of the Jedi. Like
there's Ewoks, bro.
Yeah.
I think Howard looks
better than that.
Howard's way more detailed. Howard's Bill moves.
Yeah.
What do the Ewoks do? They just die. They just die when you shoot them.
They say
kill
Yeah.
stormtroopers too.
They just yub nub.
They do kill.
Yub
Yeah,
nub.
they yub nub. Ichapi yub nub. Atomi topi.
But I do see a version of this that could have been animated, that could have been fun. You know, that could have it could have been better.
They would have cut the runtime just a little bit.
Yeah.
This movie's fine. Just cut an hour off of it.
Just a little more focus and a little more, better.
Little more Leah Thompson.
And
Lot
less
more Leah Thompson.
like
Yeah,
well, because
lot
I think a cartoon would have worked also because of the fact that so many of those characters, like you guys were mentioning, act like cartoon characters, right? Like when you're in a diner and you see a patron sitting at a table that doesn't look normal,
Kill him.
and your first instinct is to kill it and eat it. Like, I don't know, I could be okay with that in a cartoon.
Sounds like the
Like-
South
like-
right there, but
or a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Or a Zack
Yeah.
Snyder movie.
yeah.
is this post Back to the Future, Leah Thompson?
Yes.
No.
That's why they. Yes,
Oh,
it
wait,
is.
wait.
It is.
86. You're right.
It
You're
is.
right.
That is why. That's why they cast her,
Oh,
because
okay.
they wanted her off of Back to the Future.
That's right.
Yeah.
Want her off of the movie?
5.
No,
Yeah,
no,
they wanted her
no,
off.
they
They wanted
wanted
her
her
off.
off.
They wanted her based off of the success of Back to the Future.
They're rubbing her out. That's it. They have a Leah Thompson hit squad.
Yeah. I do have like weird questions I could ask. Like, I was just kind of letting you just like see where you wanted to go with this
Like
one, but
the duck titties.
that was
Can
one
we go
of my
back to that?
questions.
Can we pull back?
That was a
Which was the
question I
sequel to
had.
DuckTales.
Yeah.
I guess really the easiest question I can ask you
Oh,
is
there we are.
what other questions popped into your head while you were watching this?
Well, you
'Cause
took
I got
Breeders
stuck-
of
I
the
got
Lost
stuck on-
Stork. Now
I got stuck on pizza and Hitler. That's where I got stuck on.
I
Mine
never
was-
want to talk about it.
Oh, go ahead.
Ricky. Oh man, Ricky.
Mine was,
Like,
why
I-
did I say yes? That was mine. Why did I say yes? I could shut this off and go on with my day.
What are they?
There was a curiosity like going into this.
That's your punishment
and-
for not finishing MODOK, Brian.
Exactly.
But like you guys, like an hour into this movie, you're like, oh shit, I still got another hour of this movie.
No, I turned it off and went to sleep and then watched it the next day.
I did. I watched it. I started it on Monday and I finished it on Wednesday. That's
Two
how
sittings,
I did it.
baby.
Yeah.
I even had to pause it during the second half of it to make some ice cream so that I had to sit up and actually physically do something because
yeah.
I was starting to fall asleep. I could feel myself nodding off.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was rough. It's rough.
The scene to scene, each individual scene or whatever, I don't think they're like terrible. But it's just they're so disjointed when you go from each one, from Howard being different sizes to it being more like kid friendly to more like adults. Like it's just such a weird melting pot of a movie.
What's a question you had? Because we got one from the audience right here, which is the unwrapped condom. Was it because he's a duck, or doesn't understand how condoms work?
Maybe you're assuming
love-
it's a condom. It's probably the thing you put on a finger, like when you're counting money and stuff.
Ricky, I
You don't
love
get
that
paper
you have.
cuts.
I love that you had that picture ready to go, Rick.
Well, like
So
if we're
good.
talking the anatomy of a duck has like a barbed penis.
Wait, are you sure?
I'm almost certain.
Are you? You're certain? You're
Yeah.
Frank.
He says he's almost certain. I don't
Frank,
know. I don't look
or-
at duck
I'm like
penises too
ruining
often.
my safe search. I have
Well,
a Jeffrey
no, Frank-
Jones
Frank-
Wikipedia
Frank-
page up. I'm
Frank,
searching
you're
duck
usually our
penis right now.
Googler. Our Googler.
See what we got here. Duck penis. Duck penis.
cork
Oh, it says
strip.
woo. Oh man, it's like a little curly Q.
It's not
It's like-
barbed. It's not barbed.
It's
though,
a
right?
pigtail.
No, it's not barbed. It looks
pigtail.
yeah, it looks like a little pigtail.
Okay, so what was your
That's
question?
better.
Now, okay, so do you change your opinion of the condom now because it's not barbed? Like you were thinking of a cat penis, by the way. Cats,
Yeah,
cats,
cat
are,
penis.
cats are barbed.
What's a duck vagina look like?
Oh my god! Oh my gosh!
Oh, nice.
Oh, I think the government just like
Yeah.
took Frank down. He'll be back momentarily. Maybe not by the end of this podcast. But Frank is gone. That was a bridge too far right there, Frank.
Yeah.
Sorry. But what? So okay, what other questions you got? What, Brian? What about you? Because that's all we can do is just ask questions about what they were thinking.
Yeah, I just have so much. They were so disjointed. It was like, can you just focus on on why. Also, the manager, like when he's trying to get the money for the group, and then he's like, "Give me the girls." Like he's robbing the manager. Like he could have been anybody, just been like, "I want the money," and he's like, "Okay, here you go. Here's their money." And why and how are the janitor and the girl from the Cherry Bombs dating? Like, how is that happening?
Oh, I thought the Cherry Bomb guy was dating someone else in that band. Oh, right.
No,
Okay, yes,
it was the scientist was dating the bass player or something.
Phil
or the drummer.
is dating he's dating one of the players.
Okay.
Phil was dating one.
Like that just casually, like he just happens to just pop in now.
Well,
randomly.
you know what? I will say this. That was kind of like the best excuse for why Beverly didn't know that her friend Phil was not a scientist and was in fact a janitor, because he's a friend of a friend. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to defend this movie much, but I could defend it. I could defend it on that one, right? Like, is it maybe, like she's just seen him before after parties after the band's over, like whatever.
He busts
Frank's
into
back.
that dressing room saying, "Oh, I was hoping to catch you while you guys were changing."
Oh, I know.
That's
That
his
was a Donald
Yeah.
Trump move right there.
80s
dude.
rapey
Like,
is fine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
again 80s
80s,
rapey.
80s
Like,
rapey.
I just imagine George Lucas, movies cut. He brings it into Universal. He's smoking a fat joint, slides it across the desk.
The joint?
This is what I spent your millions on. Take it or leave it. And they're just like,
Why do you spend millions on a joint? I don't understand the
or
story.
it's like the movie. He slides the movie across the desk.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense.
Makes him play it while he's smoking in the back. Like, he had to have known, right? Like,
dude, have you not seen him screen Phantom Menace?
Yeah.
He thought that shit was awesome, bro. Like,
No, it's gold.
he does not know. He's the guy who made your favorite Star Wars movies. This guy sucks.
He did a line, and then
He's
he was
awful.
like, "Midichlorians." That sounds kind of real.
So amazing.
Yeah.
is this pre-Kathleen Kennedy?
I think so.
I think she was doing producing or directing at this time, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Couldn't they have made the whole transformation of Dr. Jennings like much quicker? And like I know they were doing it for like comedic effect. Like, why is he's doing like punchlines now?
You didn't want to see him turn into Dr. Wiley for 3 hours?
We also didn't need to have Howard go to the unemployment office and have a woman who clearly thought that was an actual human being in a suit.
Right.
And without ever asking him for identification.
Oh, yeah, we haven't even talked about the adult
social security card.
He has ID.
But then she puts him in a romance spa. Like,
is that a real thing? I did not know about the romance spa till
they have one in San Diego too. Yeah, on 70th Street.
I only know it's a real thing because it's in the write-up for the episode or the movie. When I was reading it, I was like, "What? That's what it's called? A romance spa?"
El Cajon and 70th, Ricky. I'll take you there one day.
Like, is it just a spa where you just like bang it out, like you rent like a love hotel?
Kind of, but like you rent out a jacuzzi and you can meet a lot of interesting people.
Why was there a room with a mud bath?
Right.
Do they drain it? Like
the mud bath, I don't know about.
I think that's Howard's job is to clean it. I think that's what his job was.
Maybe we're assuming that was mud and it's for just certain fetishes.
Okay, that's fair.
And that there was a jet that was clogged in the hot tub that the couple was in, and they're like, "Oh, they throw them in, and it's some panties or a bra or a bathing suit, like right there that they didn't see that."
When you're a jet, you're a jet.
I was kind of weird out how like a giant duck person ends up in their pool or in their spa with them, and they didn't.
They were too busy making out.
Yeah,
they were busy.
I did have another question about the movie. Was just like, why were there so many people in it? There were so many people. Do you remember how many times they cut to the door of the diner as people are running out? There had to have been like 50 extras and actors that were paid to run out of that. Or like when the lab was blowing up, like how many people, like why?
I mean, that set alone is freaking huge.
Yes, there were so many people in this movie that didn't need to be in this movie.
And then they were very inconsistent with the reaction of the humans. It was either they were terrified or they were just like, it's just a duck.
Maybe those guys are from New York though, like where they've seen like big ass rats and they see a big duck and they're like, oh, whatever, give me a pie.
Satan sluts at the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, he had the worst timing and luck when he landed. Just everything that could happen just was like one after another. Just
it's a good thing he didn't land in 2021 because
like, how did he not die?
He would have been like, "Hey, toots," and they'd be like, "Did you just assume my gender?" Like they'd be saying things like that in 2021. He'd have to wear a mask.
From the universe on Earth and did not burn upon re-entry.
He was in space.
Yeah.
Like what?
He was in a space laser tube. Like what?
Yeah.
Like why are you asking these? Okay, you know what?
He still fell from a 5-story building.
Ricky wants to know the science.
I did ask him for questions, and this is what we get.
Well, okay. His wing. I know he can't fly, but his wings would definitely cause some kind of resistance, right? So maybe that lessens the terminal velocity of his fall, and he has hollow bones.
Birds have hollow bones. Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
There you go.
Yeah.
Solved.
Well, that he fell in the chair.
Myth busted.
Yeah, I think
don't
what
know.
we're all trying to say, guys, is we loved the movie, and you should go and pay for the premium version of Peacock so that you can watch it without commercials. And that's how you get paid from Peacock right there, guys. I just did it. All right. No, seriously, this movie was awful. I think Ricky's the only one who liked it.
It had heart.
Ricky paid money for it because he didn't listen to us when we told him how to watch it free.
Maybe
You know
that's
what's
the only
pretty,
way.
like-
That's the only reason he liked it.
You know what's
I
messed
do
up
want-
is the HD version on Amazon is actually like bugged during the diner scene, so it's like
It
whole
shows the
4
actual
minutes
movie.
of pixelated nonsense.
It shows the actual movie. That's good.
Nope, good.
Pixelated nonsense. I
This
did like
movie was
the,
snubbed by the Academy, and I think wrongfully. I think we all
Was it
agree on that.
nominated for anything? Like best
7 Razzies.
It actually won 4 Razzies. Yeah, it was nominated for 7 and won 4. So yeah, this movie is considered one of the worst movies ever made. It's considered the worst George Lucas movie ever made. But I think the time of this Wikipedia entry was before the Phantom Menace, and so I'm not sure if they've reassessed that. No, this movie's worse than all of those movies. But yeah, we do have to get going soon. So I did want to just point out, like, Marvel, surprisingly, James Gunn, in spite of this movie, he brought back Howard the Duck for the MCU. He has a very small part in 2 movies, but he is in what is it, the Guardians of the Galaxy at the end, right?
Yeah, first one post.
Yeah, it's played by Seth Green, Seth Green, and then Howard makes actually an appearance again in Guardians 2, right? And then he actually makes a brief cameo in the Endgame battle against Thanos' forces. You can see him coming out of the portal carrying a big ass laser gun, and they decided Howard's part of it. He gets to be part of the fight. But like, so I guess one day we could get an MCU Howard the Duck movie or show or something like that.
Give me a Disney Plus Howard the Duck.
I did mention last week that The Offenders, one of the shows that Hulu was planning to develop, was a Howard the Duck show. But I think it was going to be an animated show like MODOK. But that's gone now. But who knows? But like, I'm just curious, not that you really genuinely have to answer this question before we go, but like, if we did get more Howard the Duck in the MCU, what would you guys want? Would you want anything, any references to this movie at all, or what would you want to see? I like
Leah Thompson. Just Leah Thompson. That's it.
On a trampoline in her heyday.
I want to see the female duck from the beginning with the boobs just right there.
That's fair.
I would like to see just some little throwbacks somewhere in the background where they call out to this in a subtle way.
Would Frank, you always love when they do that, right?
The subtle
Callbacks.
I like when they have them in there and they're subtle callbacks. I don't like it when they're all like, "Hey, remember when we did this? Hey
guys, we brought back Jeffrey Jones."
By the way, my lighting is turning me into what like Jeffrey Jones turns into. I'm turning like bright lobster red.
What
Like, what is going
was
on?
the bad guy name, anyways?
the Sex Pest.
Dark Overlord, wasn't it?
So just I mean,
Sex Pest Vargas.
we can get more into that, but Sominus actually is a planet in the Marvel universe that is occupied by demon-like people, and the ruler is named Thog. They never reference him as Thog in the movie, but you could infer.
Thog's the one behind bringing Howard to Earth in the comics.
There you go. Yeah. But I think we do have to wrap up this conversation. I think genuinely anybody who stuck around to listen to us talk about Howard the Duck after 55
they're the real
minutes,
heroes.
After 55 minutes of us not talking about Howard the Duck, this is why we do all the stuff beforehand, so that you don't come away with it in the night just saying, "Oh, they just talked about Howard the Duck for like an hour and 40 minutes and it was horrible." No, we couldn't do that. We couldn't do that to ourselves. But
No.
I do want to thank you guys for putting up with this. It was awesome. I want to thank Brian for coming back and for sitting through that movie for an hour and 50 minutes. Like that's, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Like it was a weird kind of fun, I suppose.
It was.
Brian's the real hero.
But yeah, Brian, really quick before we go, we want to remind people where they can find you in case they're not looking at the links in the description below.
You can find me all over social media at Comedy Brian. You can check out my YouTube channel, comedybrian.com or youtube.com/Comedy Brian. And I have a Dry Bar comedy special, drybarcomedy.com/ and it's just a long stuff. Just look for my name, Brian Apprille. So
yes. And it's APPRILLE, which is like the normal spelling, you know.
Yeah, just like the month. APPRILLE.
Yes. But yeah, once again, thank you everybody for coming. We're gonna switch over to patreon.com/DenXmedia for our after show, where surprisingly it's gonna get really weird because we're gonna talk about all the stuff we didn't get to talk about in this.
More duck boob.
And Frank, let them know what they should be doing.
Watching Elton John bang Richard Madden in Rocket Man, the best biopic that I've ever seen. Yeah, I want you to smash that like button like Elton John smashed Richard Madden in Rocket Man. Also, leave a comment and subscribe. Thanks.
That's gonna be everything. Thank you all for watching Den Excelsior. Enough said.